Okay, tomorrow, Monday, we'll finish up work. A lot of people in absence. A lot of people have been absent. We're going to finish up work on this these trig identities and solving those solutions. But anyway, here's couple identities I definitely wanted to show you before you go to calculus. Okay, this first one. Cosine pi halves minus theta equals sine of theta. And just think about it. Let's say theta is 30 degrees. Cosine of pi halves minus 30. Okay. Well, what's 30? If theta's, let's say theta is 30. Theta equals 30. Pi halves minus 30 is 60. Okay. Cosine of 60 is 1/2. What's sine of 30? 1/2. Okay. All right, so basically it kind of flips that reference triangle. So look at it again. Again, we said theta is 30. So cosine of this angle here, what's pi halves minus 30? 60. Cosine of 60, 1/2. Remember what theta is, that's 30. Sine of 30, 1/2, so they equal each other. The next one, very similar. Sine, number 2, sine of pi halves minus theta equals cosine of theta. Again, let's say this is 30. Theta is 30. So what's sine of this angle here? What's pi halves minus 30? 90 minus 30 is 60. Sine of 60 is root 3 over 2. What's cosine of 30? Theta is 30. It's root 3 over 2. Okay? So here's two identities it's important to know. Okay? Alright? I don't need to show any more. I think you guys get it. Right, let's do a quick proof. I want to show you how this all comes about. Here's this cosine of pi halves minus theta. We're going to do what? We're going to do the cosine difference formula. Cosine pi halves cosine theta minus, so plus sine pi halves sine theta. Cosine pi halves is 0 times cosine theta. This will be 0. Plus sine of pi halves is 1 times sine of theta plus 1 theta, which is, so this whole thing equals sine of theta. So that's the way this whole formula here, number 1, is derived. Number 2 is a little trickier. We're going to use this identity here to help us figure out this down here. It's a little tricky, okay? Alright, so we're going to use the rule that we just established. So kind of skip this. I don't think. We're going to consider right here sine of pi halves minus theta. Okay? Let's just treat this right here as a theta. This angle right here, let's think of it as a theta itself. Okay? So remember what we said sine of theta is? This right here is going to be some angle, pi halves minus theta. Let's say it's theta x, okay? But now we know, consider this as one angle, let's say, okay, theta, all right? Remember what we said sine of theta is cosine pi halves minus theta, right? Okay, so here's our cosine minus, what did we say theta was? It's this, pi halves minus this theta, okay? Right, so we're just using this formula here, but we're calling theta, we're calling this whole angle here, all right? So this equals cosine pi halves minus theta. Well, the pi halves minus pi halves is 0, and a negative minus a negative is plus theta. So this sine halves pi halves minus theta equals cosine theta, okay? That kind of just proves these two identities. You'll need to know this for calculus. I want you to be exposed to it, okay? All right. The rest of these I might just go over again. Here's your sum and difference formulas. It's cosine A plus B and A minus B. Notice cosine goes cosine, cosine, sine, sine. The plus is minus, the minus is plus. And we always go A, B, A, B. The sine, A plus B. Remember, sine always goes for the difference. Sum and difference is sine, cosine, cosine, sine. AB, AB. The plus is plus, the minus is minus. Here's our tangent. tangent of A plus B, tan A plus tan B. And then 1 minus tan A tan B, multiplication here. For tan A minus B is tan A minus tan B, 1 minus tan A tan B. Notice, oops, I made that wrong. This is plus. I'm glad I caught that, okay? The reason I know that is if this part here is minus, this matches this, tan A minus B, tan A minus B. This is always opposite this sign. See, plus, minus, minus, plus, okay? Good. I usually have a mistake here or two. I want to go over the double angle formulas. We really only use these when we have problems where we have to build our triangle from SOHCAHTOA and write triangles given in a certain quadrant. Sine of 2 theta is 2 sine theta cosine theta. Cosine 2 theta is cosine squared minus sine squared theta. And notice we got these two other formulas we didn't really use, but they came off of, if I substituted cosine squared with 1 minus sine squared theta, I would get 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. If I substituted sine squared with 1 minus cosine squared theta, I would get 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. All right. This is a formula you're going to see in calculus that's important. Okay, it's a way of rewriting, another way of writing sine squared theta. All right? If I subtract cosine 2 theta and put it over here, and I add the 2 sine squared theta over here, divide by 2. So I move this, and I'll get the 1 plus, or I'm sorry, I subtract this to get it over here. I get the 1 minus cosine 2 theta. I add this over here, so I get plus 2 sine squared theta, and I divide by 2. 2 sine squared theta is 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2. Okay? Same with this formula here. I add 1 over here. Notice I've got 1 plus cosine 2 theta. I add the 1 to this. I divide both sides by the 2, and I get this. Okay? All right, and here I have a tangent squared theta would be what? I'm dividing this by this. The 2's would cancel out, and I get 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 1 plus cosine 2 theta. I'd like for you to have all this. I'll probably make, I'd like to have all of you have this for calculus. We went over our half angle formulas. Remember, this is for the original angle, the original angle, okay? The original angle, which theta divided by 2 is your original angle. Determines plus or minus. 1 minus cosine theta over 2 square rooted. Cosine is 1 plus cosine theta over 2 square rooted. Tangent 1 minus cosine theta over 1 plus cosine theta under the square root. Okay, and that's plus or minus. Okay, and this one here is a better formula. I'm not dealing with conjugates. No square root because you're using cosine. No square root. And you're not using plus or minus. It's 1 minus cosine theta over sine theta. Okay, that's your tangent. So there's your half angle formulas. And I think, and then we had our product to sum. Okay. Remember, I've noticed on some quizzes, if this is a negative theta, it's just the same as cosine theta. When you get this, if this is a negative theta, it makes it negative sine of theta. And here's your, so there's your product to sum. And here's your sum to product, okay? And we'll finish up tomorrow, and then we're going to go into conics Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Monday, or we have Monday off. And then we're probably going to just review for the final maybe the next week, okay? All right, I'll see you tomorrow.